Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. The New York Knicks has finished on mopping the floor with the Atlanta Hawks, the final score being 122 to 101. The New York Knicks are now 33 and 27 on the season, and with a loss by the Miami Heat to the Brooklyn Nets, we now jump up to that 6th seed, which is huge. The New York Knicks have won 5 of our last 6 games as we enter the All-Star weekend on a very high note. Good luck to Jericho Sims when it comes to the dunk contest, Julius Randle, the All-Star game, and Quentin Grimes when it comes to the Rising Stars game. And this is definitely how you want to enter All-Star weekend or enter this All-Star break. You know, the Brooklyn Nets, you take care of business, especially when it comes to the fourth quarter. You know, it's a stressless game, which we haven't really had much this season. Then we have another game, this time up against the Atlanta Hawks, that there's not much stress going on. There's not you on the edge of your seat like, are we going to lose this game? No, the New York Knicks absolutely took care of business, at least for 3 quarters of basketball, and the Hawks have definitely been very up and down as they allowed over 140 points to the Charlotte Hornets the other night and a loss. So there definitely is some red flags when it comes to this Atlanta Hawks team defensively, and the Knicks made some adjustments. Last time we played the Atlanta Hawks, yes, we were able to score the heck out of the basketball, but we were not able to defend. But this game, the New York Knicks really set the tone defensively, but also offensively as well. You know, Trae Young loves getting to that floater. You know, he loves utilizing screens as well. So the Knicks centers are definitely going to have to be on point. The guards are going to have to be on point defensively. And Trae Young was never really able to get into a consistent rhythm. Yes, he found ways to get to the free throw line, but he only had 4 made field goals in this basketball game. And you know, he's not really someone that's going to hound you defensively, even though he made a very nice play and he was able to throw it off to Julius Randle, and then the Hawks were able to gain control of the basketball, and he had a nice swipe on Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson did have he had an uncharacteristic amount of turnovers with 5 turnovers in this game, but then DeJounte Murray on the other end only had 6 points. He was able to get into the teeth of the defense a couple times, but I thought Quentin Grimes competed very hard defensively. RJ Barrett was pretty good defensively at the beginning of this game, but then I don't know what happened. He completely fell off, but Josh Hart came in and was freaking hounding. He continues to be a beast for the New York Knicks. The New York Knicks were up 25 points at one point in this game. The Atlanta Hawks never had the lead in this game. The most they cut it down to, I believe, was a 13-point game when it came to the third quarter, but Randall's hitting shots from the outside. RJ was driving really strong to the basket. Just the big three of Jalen Brunson, RJ Barrett, and Julius Randle were definitely really stepping up. DeJounte Murray is defending Jalen Brunson from the beginning, but he was able to score on DeJounte Murray. It's getting to the point Jalen Brunson is just the real deal, and NBA teams, NBA fans are just going to have to live with it. Jalen Brunson, 28 points, able to score in a bunch of different ways, get to the free throw line, mid-range knockdown, a 3 in the fourth quarter, able to get to the basket. But one of the most impressive things was 9 rebounds, and he made some nice reads out there on the floor as well. Good heads-up play when he found Obi Toppin for the dunk, and the offense did get kind of stagnant in the third quarter, but if it wasn't for Jalen Brunson in that third quarter, Julius Randle, and also another player we're going to be getting into of Isaiah Hartenstein, the Hawks might have came back and really maybe made this even a closer game. But shout out to the New York Knicks for really setting the tone. The bench stepping up. Emmanuel Quickly was a freaking beast defensively, scoring the heck out of the ball. It's so impressive. His rookie year compared to now, his ability to get buckets, and he's been pretty damn consistent since a really rough part of the season. And he's starting to get even smarter and smarter as a player as his career goes on with the New York Knicks, or just throughout his NBA career in general. So he definitely did give us a scoring punch. But through the first couple quarters of basketball, New York Knicks freaking awesome. The Hawks couldn't hit a 3. We weren't consistent from 3, but the Hawks started off shooting 0 of 10 from 3. This was just an absolute bloodbath in the first quarter. It wasn't even close. Obi Toppin, who was 1 for 13 when it came to his last 14 three-point attempts entering this game, he comes in, he splashes threes. I believe he hit 2 threes earlier, at least hit 1 3 early, so the Hawks just couldn't get anything going. But like I said, this is not a good defensive team. They allowed 140 or over, maybe even a little over 140 points to the Charlotte Hornets. You're losing to the Charlotte Hornets, you are definitely not in good shape, especially because they're in the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes, but they weren't able to execute on that lob. Hartenstein comes in the game. Hartenstein, freaking beast, had a block on a Okongwu. He rebounded like an absolute stud in this basketball game. Julius Randle, Hartenstein beast on boards, especially when it came to that third quarter. But Hartenstein, this has been probably one of his most impressive games as a pro. And I'm talking about in a Clippers uniform, Rockets uniform, and a New York Knicks uniform. He had a versatile all-around game. Beast on the boards, was a beast when it came to the interior. Capella only 10 points. Okongwu was not known as an offensive player. He's a defensive stud. But I thought Hartenstein was physical with everyone out there on the floor. Very nice block on a Kongwu. And the third quarter is what I love the most. Third quarter, when the New York Knicks are allowing the Hawks to go on this run, the New York Knicks don't score for 5 minutes, or like they don't have a field goal in 4 or 5 minutes. Yes, we had a free throw early on, but that is not a field goal. Brunson, shout out to him. He did shut that up, though. When the Hawks were going on this run, cut it to like a 13-point game, Brunson just took it right at the defense, had the and one, which I thought really set the tone for the New York Knicks to start going on a run again. Just when you thought the Hawks were going to get back into it, they're running the zone defense that the Knicks are struggling with, but then they make adjustments to it. They did pick up 2 huge technicals in this game. Josh Hart did have a tech as well, but it wasn't as pivotal. So the Hawks, when it came to their mental, definitely did cause some troubles in this game. DeJounte Murray not able to knock down shots from the outside. But when the Hawks were going on this run, what really stopped it as well, not just the Jalen Brunson bucket earlier on, is when Hartenstein had this huge tip in, and then Julius Randle as well had this huge offensive rebound, used his physicality, and finished very strong at the basket. But Hartenstein was just a beast defensively when it came to the interior. Shout out to Jalen Brunson, shout out to Julius Randle, shout out to Hartenstein when it came to that third quarter, but specifically Hartenstein to close out that third quarter on a very high note. When the Hawks were trying to get into the defense, and Hartenstein had this block, but my favorite block of them all to end that third quarter was when Trae Young tried throwing it off Hartenstein's block, trying to throwing it off Hartenstein's back, trying to make him his bitch. But no, Trae Young goes up, Hartenstein swats that shit. He says, "Not in my house." But Josh Hart, shout out to him. Josh Hart has just been freaking rock solid. This dude's been a beast since he put on the Knicks uniform, just going out there on the floor. Maybe he's not going to continue to score double digits, but this man made a very nice read, finding Hartenstein cutting, or it might have been the other way around. But anyway, he knows how to cut. He knows how to make the right reads out there on the floor. When he was defending DeJounte Murray, when DeJounte Murray was out there in the game, he was making his life hell. Shout out to Quentin Grimes. He didn't have some crazy offensive performance or anything like that, but I thought he played very hard defensively. But definitely shout out to Josh Hart defensively. He knows when to move the ball, but he continues to knock down threes, which is even more awesome because he definitely went up and down his three-point career. When it comes to shooting it from the outside, he shot 37% last season from 3, but then he fell down to 31%. But he has had like 6 coaches through like 6 seasons in the NBA, or a decent amount of seasons in the NBA. So there's definitely been inconsistencies. Maybe when it comes to coaches really giving him this confidence to shoot the 3 ball, and Tibbs has given him that green light. But competing hard defensively, rebounding the heck out of the basketball. I love that play when Brunson just threw an absolute laser, or just a dime to Hart outside of the perimeter in the fourth quarter when we're just pouring it on. But I would say after the final 3 minutes, the Knicks really took control of those final 3 minutes in the third quarter. New York Knicks just poured it on in the fourth quarter. It was just bloodbath. They went back to playing well defensively, scoring the heck out of the ball. But we definitely need to work on better consistent ball movement. RJ finished really well at the basket. I thought he set the tone pretty decently defensively, but I thought he started falling asleep at times, especially when the Hawks, when they were kind of going on a run, making this interesting, left Bogdanovich open for a 3. DeAndre Hunter cooked him at times, and I have respect for DeAndre Hunter. He may not be the most talented player in the world, even though I do think he has talent. He's kind of an older player coming out of Virginia. He knows his role, competes hard defensively, can knock down the 3 ball. He's been expanding his game to the mid-range. That's what RJ kind of needs to look at, just playing a role, not always trying to play with this alpha mentality of I need to score 30, and I feel like that's RJ's mentality a lot. So one of the main negatives, he finished very well at the basket, and he stopped taking these threes in the second half. I really love that play when he didn't shoot the 3 and he drove really hard, but he was 0-6 from 3. His 3 wasn't falling at all. He airballed 2 shots from the outside. His 3s weren't even close, and I really think he needs to work on a mid-range game before he starts really expanding his game to the outside. Maybe you could say he lacks touch overall. Did miss a couple free throws in this game, but the 3-pointers have been very frustrating, and after All-Star break, he's going to be very pivotal. We're going to need consistency. We're not going to need stretches. We need pure consistency from RJ Barrett, because if we want as much upside as possible for this team, RJ Barrett's definitely going to have to step up for this basketball squad. Shout out to him for setting the tone, scoring the ball, driving really strong to the basket. Did have that and one, but we need overall consistency from RJ Barrett. Just Jalen Brunson's awesome, and he did have uncharacteristic 5 turnovers, but shout out to Jalen Brunson, shout out to Julius Randle. Jericho Sims, you could say, maybe didn't have any crazy statistical game, but I thought he was physical. I thought the centers played very hard tonight. Hartenstein, player of the game in my opinion. I thought he played his ass off. I thought he played amazing, but Trae Young, maybe he did have near 20, but most of his points were from the free throw line. Got there like 10 times before made field goals. You look at DeJounte Murray, 6 points. And AJ Griffin did kind of give them energy off the bench, though he scored in double digits. But I thought the New York Knicks competed, thought they played their ass off. This is how you want to enter All-Star Weekend, winning 5 of your last 6, now jumping up to that 6 seed, passing the Miami Heat with a loss to the Brooklyn Nets, a team that you just beat. That has to be an awesome feeling. Shout out to Jericho Simpson's dunk contest. Shout out to Julius Randle in the All-Star game. Shout out to Quinn Grimes when it comes to the Rising Star game. Jalen Brunson is a true All-Star in our hearts. Peace out, y'all. Let's go Knicks.